We're talking about R. Kelly. He's gross.
Why do you continue, it seems, to continue to see young women? Why do you continue to do that?
Why do I continue to see women?
So I remember that when I was in like middle school, like the rumors about R. Kelly like peeing on girls at least started reaching. I'm sure they might have existed beforehand, but that's when they started reaching us, and we thought it was funny because we were children and did not think of the larger, more disgusting implications of a grown-ass man urinating on a preteen girl. And he has just been coasting under the radar until thankfully his ass has been too broke to pay people off or hide from the law. Because he was arrested not that long ago. You guys might be remembering. You might be like, why are you talking about him getting arrested? He was already arrested. Well, you might have missed the fact that a fan paid his bail because he doesn't have enough money that, like, or at least liquid assets that he can use immediately to pay his own bail. So a fan paid the $100,000 to get him out of prison. Wow, lady. Yeah, just in case you don't believe me that a fan paid his bail, like, here's the stuff that was acquired. So, he was big spending after he got out of jail when he spent the $50 on the McDonald's for everybody around him, but fan had to pay the bail. I think that's what's so shocking about this is that there are so many people that don't actually know him willing to go to his defense when there's so much pointing to him being so wrong and in the worst possible ways. It's not just pedophilia, it is controlling, predatory, and abusive behavior that's been documented for years from numerous people. But I forgot to mention distinctly, the thing that actually seemed to spark the more recent charges that kind of originated back at the beginning of this year was when the documentary Surviving R. Kelly was released. That documentary specifically included interviews with 7 alleged victims as well as other people close to his inner circle, and that kind of helped push this whole thing forward. The documentary has over 50 interviews with a wide arrangement of different people, from musicians like John Legend and Sparkle to activist Tarana Burke, as well as talk show host Wendy Williams, and there was also a bunch of interviews from different family members and R. Kelly's. And of course, like I mentioned, the main people involved were a lot of the people that he has abused. And I'm sure we all remember this interview.
Stop it. Y'all quit playing. Quit playing.
Robert.
I didn't do this stuff. This is not me. I'm fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this. I gave y'all 30 years of my career.
Robert.
30 years of my career. Y'all trying to kill me. You're killing me, man.
But yeah, recently he has been ordered held without bond and was specifically classified as a danger to the community, especially young girls. So on July 11th, there was a 13-count indictment that was returned by the U.S. District Court in Chicago that charged him with producing and receiving child pornography and enticing minors to engage in criminal sexual activity. Those are some big guns. Those are some big guns, R. Kelly, you disgusting person. Again, I also just want to clarify into the fact that I was really into Queen of the Damned around the time that it came out, and then I read up about Aaliyah and all that, and then it was like years later that I realized, like, actually Aaliyah wasn't 18 when they got married, and that whole other, that's, like, the stuff surrounding this dude, I don't understand. Anyways, I'm getting off course again. So the indictment specifically accuses him of sexual activity with 5 minors and recording some of the abuse in multiple videos, because let's not forget, if you have sexual activities with minors, it's abuse. It's rape. So the specific charges were 1 count of conspiracy to receive child pornography, 2 counts of receiving child pornography, 4 counts of producing child pornography, 5 counts of enticing of a minor to engage in criminal sexual activity, and 1 count of conspiracy to obstruct justice because he paid people off. Also, I don't know the specifics, but if your child was raped by somebody, I realize that in some of these situations, like, he was their employer, so maybe they were like, we're gonna lose everything if we fight against this, and like maybe you don't want to admit the fact that that's your daughter in a video that's circulating that people can watch, so you just want to have that plausible deniability of like that's not my daughter being urinated on and engaging in sexual activity. I guess that's one thing, but if it was specifically just for the money and the payoff and the benefits and the perks, fuck you, you suck too. But this is just a disgusting situation where he was able to pay off his victims and, you know, just escape any of the punishment until he couldn't, which is right now. And I'm very shocked but happy with the fact that the judge actually found him. They couldn't guarantee that he wouldn't commit another crime if they let him go. Like that's implying that he is dangerous right now, not that he just finally got caught doing something that he had done wrong before, but that there's a good chance that if you released him, he would immediately go back to attempting to do this or being part of something like this. So he's being held. So the specific quote from the Assistant U.S. Attorney, Angela Kroll, said Kelly was an extreme danger to the community, especially minor girls. If he was attracted in 1999 to middle school girls, he's still attracted to middle school girls. It's who the defendant is, and that, Your Honor, makes him a danger today. Because, of course, when you are a person of influence, when you are a person of means, even though his means seem to be dwindling, which is probably the reason a lot of this is possible currently, you have the ability to do things, to access things, to get places, and have people help you that the average person doesn't. So again, just good job. So the indictment is also charging two of his former employees, who are Daryl McDavid, 58, of Chicago, with 1 count of conspiracy to receive child pornography, 2 counts of receiving, and 1 count of conspiracy to obstruct justice, and Milton Brown, also known as June Brown, 53, of Chicago, who's being charged with 1 count of conspiracy to receive child pornography. So we got few people this time around. It's not looking so good for R. Kelly. So these specific charges are in relation to 5 minors that he would have met in the late 1990s. And the sexual acts all occurred with people, again, that were under the age of 18. And he created numerous sexually explicit videos with at least 4 of them. Like, not that I'm trying to give anybody advice in this situation, but there's always the good old, like, don't break 2 laws at the same time. But thank God you broke 2 laws at the same time, because now we got your ass. The charges also allege that R. Kelly and McDavid began to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to collect all those videos, to conceal and cover up their existence, to, you know, obviously try to, again, save his ass. And when that acquaintance that they paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to try to get all of those things said that he was going to hold a news conference and expose the entire thing and announced that he recovered the videos, he was paid a further $170,000 in exchange to not hold that event. So messed up. There you have it. Innocence of a children, 170 grand. So this specific indictment seeks the forfeiture of $1.55 million of personal money, which I'm assuming is the money that he doesn't actually have access to. Otherwise, he would have just paid his own bail, but I'm assuming it's just like stuff that he has access to somewheres. But yeah, I am really hoping that they can prove once and for all that he did this, because there's a lot of information cycling around there that points to that fact, and I'm really glad that he is not being released this time. Should be noted that he did enter a not guilty plea, so we'll have to see what happens there. And I guess his first sex charge was actually in 2002, but he was acquitted by a Chicago jury in 2008. That was a long time. And I also like to clarify that the last round of charges were state charges, and these ones are separate federal charges, which is why they seem a little bit more harsh, and probably why there's been obviously different handling in terms of having bail and not having bail. But yes, regardless of what ends up happening in this particular trial, if they somehow manage to be like, actually, even though all of this evidence is pointing this way, we have the transactions of money, we still just can't, whatever. R. Kelly, we are deeming him not guilty in this case. Keep in mind that he married Aaliyah when she was 15 years old. This man is clearly into underage children, and it's literally proven by the fact that he lied to get married to an underage girl. So that's about where I'll leave that. I'm really interested to see what happens in this court case. Let me know what you guys are thinking in the comment section down below. I guess I don't really know where else to leave that, but there's a lot of really shady stuff going on here, a lot of money changing hands to try to conceal and cover up what happened, but thankfully the law caught up. So that's gonna do it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to leave a comment down below, and we'll catch you all later.